Okay, it's Toraph Moses again, and to start our drawing session, I would just like to ask True Benevolent Source and the people of the Toraph to monitor and safeguard this drawing session and channel. So we're just going to hold on to our Lemurian Quartz and just ask any willing tree spirits, tree elementals that would like to participate in our drawing session. Okay, so there's no sunlight, so I'm going to have to use my intuition to see who's out here. So I'm just going to close my eyes for this. Oh, let me introduce my tools before I start. This is my Lemurian Quartz. It's great for protection, transmuting energies, but I also programmed it to channel beings, benevolent beings, positives. And I also have my pebble of shungite. It's great for protection against any anti-5G or negative 5G energies, scalar wave energies. And then this is our piece of amber. It's great for transmuting energies and protection. So again, I'm just going to hold on to my quartz and see if we can get any beings to participate in this drawing session. Okay, so I did receive a shape to work with. It was this. So it looks like a light language symbol or glyph. So let's see if we can make something out of this. It's an interesting sound. I know it's birds, but I don't know if they're fighting or if it's a baby bird crying for its parents to be fed. Or two birds mating. But I do see something here. It's like a face. This is kind of like a frog being. I know it's looking like a hippopotamus, but what I'm getting is a frog face or a frog being. Are you frog type? He said no. Are you a will-o-wisp? He's holding a nut, like a walnut or a chestnut. Are you a grandpa by any chance? Because I drew or illustrated a grandpa lately, actually last year, and you kind of resemble that. They have a peaceful, fun energy, and you have too. Show me the rest of your body. Are you wearing any clothes? He said there's no need for it. He has this leaf covering his some parts of his abdomen and groin and hips. Are you a gnome? A forest gnome? Yes. Let me just close my eyes to make sure. Is he a forest gnome? Yes. Okay. So what brings you out here? He says he's just having his breakfast. Oh. So that is a nut. He did confirm that. So this thing here, what is that? She said it's a tattoo. It's a tattoo symbol. And this is his beard. How old are you? I'm getting a wise person. He says yes, he is of wise age, but so are you like an elder? Or he said no, he would be considered young, but he said all gnomes are wise. He said that they're pre-born wise. I guess it's from genetic memory, from what I learned from the previous Grimpods, which are cousins to gnomes, according to the Liftings podcast specials on elementals. They are cousins. It's kind of why he kind of resembles the Grimpa, but he's not a Grimpa. So these leaves, did you construct them yourself? I see there's a string here. So that wraps around towards the rear end. Very similar to the Polynesian or tribal African tribes or Asian or Asiatic tribes. They do the same thing in terms of their undergarment. So he does have a lot of facial hair, am I correct? Because that's what I think this is implying. Hairlines. So I'm just going to draw some hairlines. Again, you are very, very similar to the Grimpa. I feel this very jovial and tricksy at the same time energy. Could you just tell me a little bit more about your home? Is your home here in the perceived 3D 4D plane, or are you at the fifth dimension, perceived fifth dimension? He says he exists in the fifth dimension reality. He says he's walking towards me in the grass. He says he's close by. Do you live on the trees by any chance? Like this tree or these trees? He says his home is not these trees, but other beings live on the trees. I know where you live. You live in that willow tree, don't you? Oh, this lady's blocking. You live in that willow tree. Is that your home? Yes? Okay. And this lady's like looking at me like I'm talking to myself. But it's okay, because I am talking to someone else. And that's this beautiful gnome. Do you have a name? Let me hold my quartz. Do you have a name? Let me close my eyes. I got this image of a feather, a white feather. Is your name? Hethmer. Hethmer. Like white feather, and then you put it together, and then you come up with a word. And then for some reason you just, I don't know how I do it, but it just comes out like that. And his name is Hethmer. Oh, hello, Hethmer. So this is a tat. Your name is Hethmer. How tall are you? How tall are you, Hethmer? He says from 12 inches to 3 feet. Okay. So that's how big your species is. And then you are a gnome. And you live here in the forest, and your house is on the willow tree. There's a beautiful willow tree. I'll try to take a photo of it. I love that willow tree. I'll show you again. That's the willow tree. Is your home on the stump of the tree or on top of the trees? He said it'll be a hassle to climb the tree at such heights. Therefore, he has a little huts on the stump of the tree. So you live, okay, on a hut. Are there a lot of gnomes there? He said yes, and other beings, fays, fairies, and grass sprites and all sorts. Okay. I first got an impression you were a will-o-wisp because you were illuminating, or like you had some luminescence going around you. Is that just your elemental energy? Or is that a firefly or something like that? He says that they use fireflies for to light up the environment. So where he's at, it's kind of it's dim because he's under the tree, so it's kind of dim. Yeah, it's true because there's a lot of foliage. The canopy is quite dense, so it's kind of dark. So he used fireflies for light. Oh, that's so cool. It's so, like the fantasy movies do you justice because they also illustrate that in their movies and books. That's so cool. Okay, do you have, how do you feel about the weather? Like, as for myself, I'm sensing there's some weather manipulation going on lately with all the tropical storms and the heat waves is impacting different states. How do you feel about that? How do your people feel about that? I'm just gonna hold on to my quartz And I'm also going to ask True Benevolent Source and the people of the Toraph, including my higher self, to audit this vehicle known as Toraph Moses, so he can provide genuine, truthful information from these beings, and they're not distorted, they're accurate from these beings, and I welcome this audit in this current 0 point moment. Thank you. So I'm just going to close my eyes and I'm just going to get a message from Hethmer. He says that technologies that manipulate weather patterns has been imminent throughout the decades, and he does not subscribe to these types of tampering with nature. He and his people are disgusted by these human acts, and he requests for humankind to stop it and allow nature to be that nature. He wants to enjoy the 4 seasons without any tampering. He wants to enjoy the meadows and the fields without any disturbances of AI technology constructs. He wishes for people to also be more sensitive to nature and be more sensitive to where they place their belongings and clean up their mess. Thank you, Hethmer, for giving us your status quo on it. And I do totally agree with you that humanity has become quite irresponsible with the business affairs of the ecology and the environment. And they need to be more cognizant and more sensitive. So I totally agree with you wholeheartedly on that, or on it. And yes, with the technology that's causing a lot of artificial weather patterns, they do need to stop. He says they do what they can to correct it, but humanity must know when to stop. Okay, well, thank you, Hethmer. Alright, so that does conclude the drawing number 1. I will try to do another one. So this is Hethmer, our beloved. I'll do an update drawing on him. Okay, bye guys.